Forza Horizon 5 is near the end of its lifespan. The game released nearly 3 years ago now, and in that time they have released many different cars that have become increasingly harder to get. At the top of that exclusivity list, however, is one car. A car that released technically before the game even did. And that car is the Ford 5-Window Deluxe Forza Edition. Now I know that can be a bit confusing. How can a car release before the game even releases? Well, that is because of how they released this specific car. This car was given out as a DLC code for anybody that purchased the Forza Edition Xbox controller the month leading up to Forza's release. Now these controllers were extremely limited, and even more than that, they were expensive. Releasing with a price tag of roughly 70 USD, which is the price of the actual game, this car already made sure it was going to be the hardest to acquire vehicle ever in Forza Horizon 5. So obviously that meant I had to have it. Now the initial problem for acquiring this specific car was with the controller itself. Like I previously mentioned, the controller was a pre-order item, and it had long since sold out by the time I was aware of its existence, which meant my options for getting it were extremely limited. The good thing, however, was since it was a DLC code that was given with the box of the controller, that meant that the car could be sold after the fact by somebody who was only looking to acquire the controller. So I did what anybody looking to acquire some exclusive DLC would do. I took to eBay. And sure enough, there were a few codes uploaded, but their prices were less than ideal. Between the 5 that were up there, the cheapest option was going to be the original price of the controller, which was still more than I was hoping to spend on it. Luckily, it was still pretty recent after the controllers were released, so there was still a chance that somebody would put a code up for cheaper in the coming days. So I decided to wait. Over the next couple days, I proceeded to monitor eBay and waited for a code to show up closer to 50 USD. While I was waiting, however, I did have an idea. Now to give a little backstory, at this point I had been doing YouTube for about a year, and in that time I had built up a Discord server of almost 1,000 members. All of the people in this Discord server were fans of Forza, so I figured there was a chance that one of them purchased the controller and would be willing to sell the code at a fair price. So I put out an announcement asking anybody who had purchased the controller to send me a private message and waited. For the first few hours there was nothing. But then, I got a message. The message came from a user who we will refer to as Lucas. Now this wasn't my first time hearing from Lucas. He had been a member of my Discord for a good number of months now, and I'd even seen him in a couple of streams. So, because of this, he had already developed a bit of trust from me. He said that his dad had bought the controller and given him the code, but he would be more than happy to sell it to me if I would also show him out in the video I made about it. This was a pretty fair deal, I thought, and he was willing to sell it to me for 50 USD, so I agreed. I asked him how he would like to be paid, and he said he didn't have his own PayPal account and wanted to know if I would just be able to get him a Steam gift card for the set amount. Now, perhaps this should have been red flag number 1, and maybe somebody a little less trusting would have got it. However, I was too excited. All I wanted was to make a video on this car, and finally, it seemed like it was gonna be possible. Now, looking back at the incident, there was one key moment where I should have caught it. And that moment was when he asked for me to send the gift card before he sent the car code. Why should this have been a red flag, may you ask? Well, I was a YouTube creator. I had over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube at this point, and there was a 0% chance I was going to be the one scamming him. So there should have been no problem with me getting the car code first. Unfortunately, I was overcome with excitement. So when he asked for the gift card first, I didn't think twice. I didn't see why not, as I already had the gift card ready, so I just sent it over. I saw the message deliver on Discord, and then proceeded to see his profile go gray. I went to message him again, but I was not able to send messages to this user anymore. And then, I never heard from Lucas again. And to this day, I still haven't. So Lucas, if you're out there, just know I have never trusted anybody since. Ever since that day, I have doubted every message and email that has ever crossed through my inbox. And you're the one I can thank for that. I did, however, end up getting the code that same day. I was overcome with disappointment, so I took to eBay and just paid the $70. So in the end, this car cost me $120, as well as the final trusting bone I had in my body. I honestly can't say it was worth it, as I've only used the car about 5 times since that day. And if I could go back in time, I absolutely would, and probably still fall for it because he was that convincing. But anyways, that is the whole story for today, and if you take anything away from it, let it be to trust nobody ever, not even your parents. Yes, I'm talking to you, Steven. But let's see if we can get this video to 500 likes. As always, we'll see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.